Hey guys, it's me, Delta1, here with God's Airsofters. And today I'm bringing you a review of the CMo52. Yes, I've reviewed this gun before. It is just, the Echo 1 is a CYMA, so I thought I'd review the CYMA because my buddy brought his by, Mikey, good buddy of mine. So let's just get on to this review. CMo52, just a sticker of an RPK, see what it looks like inside the box and what it comes with. There we go, got that box top off. Just going to throw it at Mikey, but, you know, the camera's right in front of him, so, yeah. Anyways, it'll come with a manual, and it'll have 2 pieces of styrofoam, you know. But overall, your packaging's pretty decent. I really wouldn't be worried about it coming broken, and it comes with a clean jamming rod, but, yeah. So let's get all this out and get on with the review. But before we do that, comes with a trickle charger, front side post adjuster, 9.6 custom, 1200 milliamp, 9 nickel hydrate battery, 800 round RPK style mag, and the gun itself. Now let's get on with the review. So here's the gun in all of its glory and awesomeness, because I like RPKs, but M4s just aren't really my taste. But I'm not going to sit here and hate on them. I'm done doing that. So again, what's really kind of funny to me is that you can't put the magazine in the gun and have it on the bipod laying down like this at the same time, because this magazine is just too damn long. So we're just going to put that off to the side. So, as always, first impressions, it's not a TM. I'm super happy about it. I've messed with these for quite a while. I own one personally. So, my first impressions was pretty good. And to be honest, the wood quality on here is not the best, which is unfortunate, because a replacement stock for this is like something like $75, which is ridiculous. To be honest, I'd rather pay someone and buy a real steel RPK stock and have it modified to be put on. So, first impressions, pretty good. So, let's start with what's wood, plastic, and polymer, and steel, and we'll have a magnet for it. So, let's start with the plastic. You have a plum-colored handguard, which is normally black. The one that came on my Echo 1 was black, so this is kind of a little bit different. Then we have just this little plastic tip right here that goes over your M4 flash hider, which really puzzles me because I don't know why there's an M4 flash hider on here, but this is 14mm counterclockwise. Again, parts that are wood are the stock, handguards. I'm not sure if the handguards are like its own style because they are a little bit wider than your standard ones, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure if you're handy with a Dremel, you can put whatever you wanted. Now, what's metal? Pretty much everything I just didn't list. So, metal. Sling mounts, which are on the left side of the gun. So, instead of one being on the other side, like normally, both of these are on the left side. They are both metal, and the front one's trustworthy. Not so sure about the back. And then you got this little metal butt plate on the back that's screwed on, but does not have a hole where you can put a cleaning kit, like on the real steel ones. So, that's kind of there. But the wood is laminated. So, let's move on with the steel test. We have our SHS high torque motor, which is what it's good for. They're really good motors. Recommend it. I would recommend you put one of these in here. So, that's steel. Sling mount on the side is steel. I'm getting some magnet pull from the stock prongs. Top cover. The actual little button on the back for the top cover is steel. Receiver. Selector switch. Bolt. Not the rear sight, but it is painted red and has windage and has elevation and has paint in the little slit in the back so you can line up with your front sight, which is nice if you're going to use the irons. That's steel, that's steel. Side rail isn't steel on this side. Receiver is steel. Front gas tube, gas block is pop metal. The little part that holds the wood handguard in here is steel. And the one in the back, and the one in the back as well for the bottom. But this one right here, pop metal, the outer barrel looks to be aluminum. The fake cleaning dejamming rod is steel. Bipod is steel, but the bipod lug up here is made out of, pop metal. Which is disappointing. But you can buy Yugo RPK bipods for like $30, and they'll fit on here. So a little modification. Nothing steel on the front sight. But your M4 flash hider steel, because that's obviously more important than making your front, side steel, apparently. So, and then the front truncheon assembly, which is pot metal, which is the biggest con to this gun. Yeah. I don't know why. CYMA, I'm going to go into some details about that right now. CYMA took this and they cloned it off of the LCT, but the LCT, as you know, there's 2 screws in here that you attach the front barrel assembly. But they were CYMA did this right. They differed from that and they made like some hybrid front end. But by hybrid, it doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just means the construction and the materials may have been different. And in this case, it is better because it's not held in by 2 screws. They're actually riveted in place. Not really riveted, but kind of like, put in place. It's not screwed in. It's kind of just hammered in. It's going to stay like it is. But to go ahead and to make this part of the gun pot metal was one of the worst decisions that the company probably ever could have made. But, what do I know? I'm a technician. So, God forbid they build a gun the way I like it, what do I know? I mean, I don't own a lot of AKs, do I? Just throwing it out there, CYMA, fix your shit. On my Echo 1, the rivets came loose and it wobbled horribly, and my cameraman can attest to that. Can't you, Mikey?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It wobbled quite fiercely. I had to get it sent, re-riveted, and I still have a bit of wobble. But, this one doesn't have wobbles, so this RPK is basically a hit and a miss. If you do buy one, try and buy it in person. That's all I really have to say. But let's move on. Features, you got your actual club footstock, which is, I believe, a Cold War era, is when they started pumping these out or something like that. I don't know. I could be wrong. And then you got your selector switch, which is nice, firm. You'll hear it click into place. So if you're shooting and you kind of, don't have an AK and you kind of change the selector switch, it sounds like this. Is it full auto? Or safe? I don't know. I didn't hear it. But, you can hear this up to a mile away, supposedly, if you're God. But anyways, it's got the side rail mount for putting optics on it, like so. This is a SKS scope not an SKS scope. It specifically comes with the kits, but that's what it looks like on it, and it's got the proper eye relief for a gun like this. So if you do find an SKS scope kit, use this scope and the CYMA side rail mount. Other side rail mounts will work with maybe some modifications, maybe not. Who knows? But, you can simply take it off, which is great, because you can take this off quicker than actually having to use a rail. And to be honest, it all comes down to personal preference, but I like this concept better. So, you have a full-size bolt. Praise be the Jesus and gods. We have a full-size bolt. God forbid companies didn't use it before, but now they started catching on. It's a nice bolt. It doesn't have the best sound in the world. Maybe if you could kind of get some coin action going on back here to kind of give it that type of sound, just throwing it out there. You maybe get some coins back in here, do some of your own little mods. But as you can see, it is a full-size bolt, and it actually disassembles like a real AK. I actually have a real RPK. So there's your bolt. It is quite nice. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually pretty damn close to what the real bolt looks like. I'm gonna have a separate video comparing the two, because I have a real RPK and it actually has a clubwood stock. It's actually, those RPKs are getting pretty rare. So I picked one up and I was very pleased with my purchase. But to put it back in, you just simply, let it go in. It goes on like that. You just put your top cover, give it the old ass slap in the back, and you're pretty much fine. As I said, the RPK, this is what is another big bonus to this RPK. Most people don't know this because basically when they see the long barrel and the stock, they're like, oh, it's an RPK. Well, this actually has a proper beefed up receiver and actual widened barrel, or bigger barrel for, you know, sustained fire for real life. But the fact that, you know, CYMA went that way is pretty good, you know, and I like that. So, but the beefed up receiver is good and bad in its own way. I've thought about, you know, swapping out this receiver to fit some things to prevent, you know, receiver wobble, but you know, it's LCT and, you know, receiver wobble. It, you know, it's just one of those things. It's like, I know you can get spare front end from Echo One CYMA parts, you know, but who wants to pay like $135? I don't. So I'd rather buy another gun and use it for parts. But you know, just throwing it out there. But you know, you got your bolt, metal hop-up unit, magazine release. If you're looking for drum mags, I don't know any drum mags that fit in it and stay in it, which is kind of disappointing. I know the RPK74 did not have that, and you know, I just realized something. I'm not sure, but on this one, on the Echo One, it didn't have a rivet right here, because that's where the trademarks went. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to go and look, guys, but that could probably contributed why mine wobbled so much. So, I guess this is another reason to get a CYMA. But, you know, wood handguards are fine. Again, as I said, I'm not sure if they'll accept any other ones. But you do have a proper RPK rear side aperture. You actually have the windage and the elevation. Nice red paint. You know, it's got the little red slit in the back. Which, to be honest, is a very fantastic build. You know, and it just makes it feel more like an authentic, real RPK. Which is just really, it's nice. But, you know, again, cons to this is, you got your little pot metal truncheon here. CYMA's pot metal cracks more than it does bend, which is bad. I'd rather have a bending pot metal than a cracking pot metal. So, again, as I said, sling mounts are featured on the left side, and you just got your gas tube barrel and 14mm counterclockwise. Bipod folds up. Overall, this is really a fantastic gun. Another con, stock wobbles, but you can, you know, chop up some old credit cards or some of those fake ones they send you in the mail, try and come to the Bank of America or Swiss Express, or I want your money in my bank because, you know, the economy sucks. Bank business, you know, throwing it out there. But other than that, I mean, you're really kind of screwed, in my opinion, for RPKs. So, let's move on to the internals. We have V3 gearbox, short type, 7mm cross slot metal bushings. You have the CYMA piston, which is running like a tank, fantastic. Piston head is fantastic. Overall, great gearbox, like I've always said. It's a pretty much, you don't need to upgrade much except for the motor, you know, and reshim and do all that stuff. It's got a 500mm barrel. You can go all the way out to here, man. That's like cutting it off like here. So that's kind of a con, but to be honest, it's kind of hard to push a 650 barrel with sorbethane buffers, which is a little pad that you put in front of your piston to create angle of engagement, but that's a whole different type of thing. But overall, your metal hop-up, you're fine. It's a great gun. You can actually support gun this out of the box, which is fantastic. Most support guns, you can't really do that. Again, Tamiya connectors, if you're going to support gun, I recommend doing a complete overhaul, running a MOSFET, running a resetting fuse. I recommend Deans. I recommend anything that isn't Tamiya because they burn out when you support gun. And again, my cameraman can testify to this. So, I need a little All right. But overall, I approve internally. Now let's go to more or less my personal thoughts. If you're getting an RPK and you want a VFC style design, this is the way to go. You may have to get this re-riveted. Finding someone to do that is going to be a pain in the ass. So, I mean, be careful. Don't treat it like a real AK. Don't, you know, be like, oh, okay, let's do push-ups on it right now. No, it's not. Let's say we didn't. and don't. You know, and you can't just pick it up and throw it and chuck it. You might want to be more careful. Another thing this is good for to me is it is a fantastic DMR setup. I built one of these. I could go from a DMR to a support gun setup at the swap of a battery. Not even then, just the swap of going from semi-automatic to fully automatic. And I was getting about 1200 on a LiPo at 450, and that was using the stock CYMA motors. So they're fantastic. This is a fantastic base gun. So I personally would recommend it to an experienced player, not an intermediate and experienced. To be honest, like I said earlier, you're really screwed when it comes to getting an RPK. No one really makes the perfect one, except for LCT, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. I mean, I have very high requirements. But again, I still recommend this gun. I still think, you know, it's worth buying. So let's go final conclusion. You're getting an RPK that isn't TM designed, that doesn't have screws right here, that can break or bend your barrel or have crappy stock prongs, and you're getting a proper wood club stock. It's got a steel body, it's got the proper sights, it's got a proper bolt, it's got a proper mag well, which again doesn't take drums, which is kind of a bitch. But if you know a drum that doesn't fall out, please leave me a comment. And you're getting a steel bipod with a hot metal lug. Yeah. But overall, I recommend this weapon. You can buy it in any of your major retailers. I hope this long, informative review has helped you. I know that I sit here and talk a lot, but to be honest, guys, I give you information from experience, and I hope this helped you. And, you know, I try and help out the community as much as I can. My reviews may not have a lot of fancy-dancy editing. I may not have a green screen. I may not have the best camera in the world. But you know what I do have? I have the knowledge of actually owning most of the guns I review. I have experience with the companies. I have experience of making them get very angry at me because I expose their faults, which is not very good. But you know what? Companies need to get their in order. So I really like this gun. I really do. But they could have done it better. But again, just going to say final conclusion. You're getting a properly done RPK that was half-assed. But, you know, it's still worth buying. So, I know this sounds very discouraging, but I think it's still worth buying. So, you know, tell me what you think of the review. If you think it absolutely sucked, then you know what? It absolutely sucks. But, to be honest, I'm just trying to push information. I'm not trying to be fancy-dancy. But, you know, final conclusion, you're getting an RPK that was half-assed. But, that pretty much concludes this video. Life is pretty good. And I like AKs. Thanks for watching.